This is Teach Your Way with BenQ, where educators find ideas that work. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome to this episode of the BenQ podcast. I'm Carly Burton-Soleil. I am the part of the Marcom team here at BenQ North America. With me, as always, is Maddie,
the partner in crime.
That's right. Also from our Marcom team. And today we have two really special guests that are joining us. We have our friends from Plano ISD here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that are joining us to talk about how they're utilizing the BenQ boards in their campus. First, I'm going to introduce you to Lilly Jensby.
Hi, I'm one of 4 digital learning specialists here at Plano ISD. And this is my 7th year in this role, and I absolutely love it. And we're so excited about the new rollout of BenQ.
Wonderful. And then we also have with us here, we have Leah Heerema. Heerema, sorry, I should put so far in Heerema. We have Leah Heerema here with Plano ISD, and I'll let her introduce herself too.
Okay, thanks. I'm Leah Heerema. I'm a digital learning specialist as well. I've had the pleasure of working with Lilly for several years now, and we are 2 of 4, like she said. And one of the highlights of our job is to get to talk about things like this, and the BenQ board has been a highlight of this year for sure.
Well, wonderful. So for today's episode, we're going to be talking about how Plano ISD is creating enjoyable, engaging learning environments for their students with the help of our boards. So first and foremost, when Plano was thinking about how you were going to reimagine lessons being future ready with your lesson prep and stuff like that and the technology that's going to support it, what were your goals as you were thinking through that?
Well, we had a committee that got together and wrote a digital learning plan. And so all of our decisions when integrating new technology has been hinging on those decisions from that digital learning plan. So we were looking for tools that are equitable, that are future ready, that are engaging, and the BenQ board supports that and aligns with those goals.
Wonderful. Why was enjoyment part of our company tagline, enjoyment in learning, an important factor for the district?
Well, we know that students learn best when they're engaged in the learning, when they have a choice in their learning. So the BenQ boards make that possible. They can come up, interact with the content, be part of the learning, share their screens on the big screen, collaborate right on the board. So we felt that it's when the kids are enjoying the process, the learning sticks.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the next stage of your thought process as you were looking at deploying new technology on campus, which is your decision process. So what challenges did your teachers and your students, what were they facing with the technology you previously had in the classroom? And what do you guys have now? And how is that changing? How is that changing with the new tools?
Yeah, I can speak to that. One of the big things that came out of our digital learning plan was sort of this idea of being untethered. And we feel like the BenQ board has really enabled and empowered our teachers to be more untethered. They're not running back to their desk and oftentimes their back is to the students, and they're not able to see and scan the room. So this allows them to be with the students. It allows the students to come and interact with the board. They're able to also leverage some of the accommodation features that BenQ has to meet some of those unique needs of our students. And we have a large population of language learners and students with dyslexia or different learning differences. And so the teachers just love having those tools at their fingertips so that they can readily and seamlessly help support those student needs.
That's wonderful. And what made the BenQ boards stand out compared to other options that you might have reviewed?
I will say when we had the day of exploration with all the different interactive flat panels, we had stakeholders that were administrators, teachers, digital learning specialists, just all different administrators, district admin. They all came in and looked at different types of interactive flat panels, and far and away, the vote was clear that BenQ really provided the most accommodating and facilitating experience for the teacher that was also so seamless. And so that just seemed to have been by a large margin. All of these have been let me start that again.
Mm-hmm.
All of these features that BenQ offers really help the teachers engage students and also manage classes in a seamless way. And they seem to be so user-friendly. So we love that about BenQ.
It's wonderful. Maddie, you want to ask the teacher and student experience questions for us?
Sure. So now that you have the boards in there, I'm sure you devoted time to teachers to get acclimated with the board and train them and stuff. How was the teacher adoption of the board in the classroom and incorporating and kind of reinventing their classroom lessons to get the kids involved in it with the board and stuff? How was that transition?
Well, I'll tell you, we have, first of all, the boards have been teaching themselves, and like Lily said, they're so user-friendly and intuitive. So that has been helpful for digital learning specialists like us when delivering the learning and all that. But I will say we've just been meeting teachers where they are. They're used to a projector and a screen. So we come in and mimic, what do you do when you just walk in and you have this brand new board? What are you supposed to even do with it? And there's a lot of capabilities, but really just, starting from where you are, let's pretend it's a projector and you're just going to mirror your laptop. Okay, how do we make that happen? So once we do that, then we start diving into how to switch sources. We have Apple TVs and iPads in our district, so we show them how to switch between the teacher PC, the laptop, the Android board, and the Apple TV. And so just getting part of that workflow established, that's been really great. They get comfortable with that. And then, so we have like stages of training. So our first one is to do whole group training, and we just go over like everything I just said. And then we come back for a level 2 training and talk more about, during planning periods with the teachers, and we get them to get more hands-on experience and targeted support. So that's what's been really nice. And then we have even more, but we can talk about that later.
But that's really awesome. How about you mentioned you have Apple TV and stuff. So the transition was the workflow, from transitioning out from there to the laptop and the board was not a hurdle or an inconvenience to the teachers.
Not at all.
And they were receptive. They were very receptive and welcoming.
Yeah.
It's so user-friendly, and I feel like the teachers, the transition from what they had been using to the BenQ has been just really exceptional. In fact, we had one teacher who was the model classroom kindergartner teacher, Fernando at Sigler, and I went out at 7:30 in the morning before class started, spent about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then said, hey, we're here for support. I never heard from him again. He just loved it and took off with it. And I mean, that's rare when you have teachers that have a brand new, and this is their main device, right? For projection, for interactivity, and for teaching, they loved it. And so that second visit has been really a deeper dive into some of the specific needs or the nuances. For example, language translation for our bilingual classes.
Right.
I feel like that they were ready for that because their sort of apprehensions about transitioning were met in the first go round, and then the second go round they were ready and hungry for, so what else can this do? What else can I get my kids involved in and engaged in? So
they really got hooked onto it, with the first go.
Yeah,
Go
really.
around.
That's so
awesome.
easy. It's made our job so easy.
And it definitely, when you see the teachers embracing it like that, it transitions in their teaching, and it also then flows back to the students, and it's then there's that cycle of everybody's participating and getting into it. So, and that's what we want, collaborative, engaging classrooms with the kids. So
Sure.
I think my next question then is we talked about the teachers embracing it. How and what did you hear from the students when they have this new gadget and tool in their classroom to learn, and how did that impact them? And what were some of the common things that you were hearing from the students about it?
Yeah, a lot of excitement. That has been the same word that keeps coming back up and up again. Can I read a couple of quotes to some teachers? So we reached out to some of our teachers that have been using this for a while now, either a couple of months or a year, and we're hearing the same common thread of excitement. So we have a 4th grade teacher, Miss Lauren Fambro at Barksdale Elementary, and she shares that students absolutely love it. She says they're excited and eager to write on the board. It has been a lot more interactive in my classroom. We do a lot of grammar practice. We like revising and editing sentences with the board, on the board. We've been able to annotate paragraphs using the highlighter and pen tools. And then just a couple other things. She says a few features that the students and teachers really like are the spotlight, the game point tracker, the random wheel spinner, and she says teachers also like having the timer feature for when they're doing it with
wheel
practice.
spinner, I'm adult and I love doing that. That's just so much fun. It gets everybody going. You can exciting, definitely. That's a great quote. I like that. I appreciate you sharing that. And like the grammar part, we've been to classrooms and kind of observed and see students too. That's a smaller class, but we were in at a school at a high school level, and the engagement in the classroom, how they were helping their team members edit and stuff, grammar and all of that. Like, it's just not like just the kids, but like high schooler who are like so not engaging and stuff were like really interactive and into the lesson. Was really good feature to see, or something to see that they're excited about it. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how like the boards and your teachers have really changed things in the classroom and how it's really made things like kind of come to action for you. Examples of lessons or activities that you've seen where the boards have made like your lessons and your learning for the students more fun and engaging.
Yeah. So I was talking about, I was at Andrews and we were at a level 2 sort of training where I sat in on different planning periods, and I had 4th grade early in the day. And they were so excited about it. And then before the end of the day, I was still with another grade level. I got an email from this teacher, and she sent me a picture of her kids. It was during math time in 4th grade. They were talking about decimals. She had, I'm trying to remember she had the game. What is that?
Team post.
Yeah. She had the team post up and had 3 kids drawing out decimals, and then they were able to collaborate. And she said that they were so excited, so motivating for them to get to come up to the board and be able to interact with it. And so I thought it was just so, what a testament to BenQ that she in the mornings gave up her planning to come to the training, and then that afternoon applied what she learned, and the kids loved it. So they were just over the moon excited, and she felt like her lesson was more successful, and the kids were able to, explain their thinking and interact with it and collaborate.
Sure.
I have another
Yeah, go for it.
Our teammate Clara Alanis shared that there's a Spanish teacher that told her she's using it for recording math problems and explaining assignments on video, or using the recording feature so that her subs can play it back. And then it's her voice, the kids hear their teacher's voice, and it's more engaging for them and it sticks with them better. So I love to hear that the Spanish teachers are using it for that reason.
I love hearing that separate example, because one of the really like different features with our board is that we do have the ability to record your lessons. So whether you do it like that, or or the teacher uses it as an assistant when you have a sub in the classroom, or you do it where you send it home to students that need like reminders at the end of the day of what they saw in the classroom, or me as a parent who can help them because I understand what the lesson and how the lesson is being taught, help them support them at home. I love that example. Thank you. So how has collaboration between students changed with the new technology in the classroom? How are they kind of like running things when it's their turn to kind of shine in the classroom?
Well, we have one example when we're training some of the older classrooms. We'll have group projects in the room. So you get 4 groups that are I don't know, dissecting this paragraph or whatever, and they can webcast their recorder's computer or Chromebook to the BenQ, and you can have 4 different groups represented there. And so then the conversation changes and they're able to see other students without having to crowd around or lose instructional time by, coming up to the board or whatever. They're just able to instantly see the results, and then they can compare and contrast and have really rich conversations. I love that about BenQ and how students can get involved in their learning.
Right. And that's what the InstaShare casting app that comes with the board.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. And we've heard, just to piggyback on that, we've heard that students are more proud and invested in what they're going to be sharing if they get to use InstaShare too and show their Chromebook on the big screen to the whole class.
Yeah, that really brings up the competitive spirit in them when they do that. So, okay. So I really like the way you guys have provided support to your teachers to really embrace the new technology, and how you're just not like one initial introduction and set it and forget it kind of thing. I really appreciate you guys going back out for the next level of training with them. I'm glad to hear that they didn't need to call you back after your first training, but it's really good to see that how much time and effort you guys are putting in to really keep that support going for your teachers and have that user end buy-in on that, where you're constantly providing additional feedback and support to them. Can you speak a little bit more about that? What was your thought process in that, and how you came about doing all of that?
Sure. Well, I do have to say we're really inspired by the BenQ team and the supports that you all offer. Not only do you provide tutorial videos, handouts, and your time. So Lauren McMillan and Norma Olson and Francisco Flores, they've all been super helpful to us. Lauren partnered with me at a campus all day and just went from classroom to classroom working on targeted support for every grade level. And I learned so much from her. At this point in the process, I was taking vigorous notes. And then our team got together. Norma joined Clara and Fern at another campus, and same thing. They got a lot of information from her. So we all convened afterwards and shared. We have a little document where we're sharing all of our tips and tricks and workflow. And so that's empowered us as trainers to be better at what we do because of them. So we really appreciate that. We've taken the YouTube videos, the webinars, we've taken advantage of everything you guys offer and made that available to our teachers and push it like crazy. And they jumped in and they're receptive to it. So we appreciate that support too.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really helped with our plan to roll it out. We've just seen so much more buy-in when we have that follow-up +2 sort of meeting, and it's in a more intimate environment. And then I would love to just piggyback on what Leah was saying. During that training of all day, I just emailed Norma a question that I didn't know, and she responded immediately. I was able to answer that question before that training session was up, their planning period. And in fact, she even offered to come up and help with the rest of the day, which really meant a lot to me. But these teachers were so excited after that initial planning period session that they came back after school, and they stayed for an hour, no lie, an hour after a full day of teaching to learn more about the features of BenQ. And they were just to see the excitement on the teachers' faces, and just seeing how their brains were working to see how the kids could be more engaged and how it would enhance their lessons. It's very exciting and very powerful.
That's good. What advice would you guys give to other districts that are looking to bring joy and enjoyment and engagement to their classrooms with the technology, with whether it's the BenQ Board or other technology you guys are using?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess what's worked for us in Plano ISD is, first of all, having a plan, setting expectations, and delivering on those. But having a model classroom has been really helpful. So that one teacher on the campus that can have the board before everybody else, they can be kind of like a petting zoo. And so become a resident expert with the support of the digital learning team. And then they can get work through all the kinks and then turn around and then train their staff. So that's a nice person that can support. But having model classroom is really cool if you can do that. Sometimes just depending on installation, we weren't able to do that. So we just, jumped in and made ourselves available to do a whole staff training. So that's kind of like our level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just get everyone used to meeting them where they are and just using it as a projector first. And then, no stress, just plug in and go. And then we come back around and do that level 2, more targeted support during planning periods or just spending all day with them. And then that's some really good time to get Q&As out of the way too. And so that's some advice that I would offer, just kind of having ongoing support and then providing them the tools that BenQ offers, webinars and follow-up videos and things like that.
We've seen that that's been so much more successful than the one and done. Here's all of the tools, feature peeking, you call for an hour and then leading them that it's so overwhelming, especially new teachers at the beginning of the year. They can't soak it all in, and it's they're hungry for the information and to know more. They know that they're not fully utilizing the board, but and then with each turn they're able to dig a little more deeply into the board, and I think that that's been super helpful.
Yeah.
Same with our kids. You don't want to give them everything at once because they can ingest it all.
Absolutely. That's all been really wonderful. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today on the BenQ podcast. I want to say that I think that you guys are helping to create what we like to call like a future ready classroom. So your teachers, like basically their imagination is their limit as far as what they can do in the classroom with the board. So if they find a really cool video, or if they find a really cool app or a tool or anything that makes sense, they can easily add it, working through the district, obviously for permissions and stuff like that, but add it to their boards and be able to use it within a couple of days, and really be able to engage in different ways. And I think that you guys are really showing that you've been able to figure that out, even though, like you said, you've been kind of onboarding a little here and a little there, but it is a learning process. Even like Medea and I, when we first started with the company, like it is drinking from a fire hose when we're trying to learn all of the features, and it does take a little bit of time, even if you're living and breathing it every day. And they have so much, teachers have so much other stuff, and you guys have so much other stuff that you're doing besides just figuring out how to maximize the value of a tool that you're being given. So you guys are doing a really great job with it. I want to thank you guys so much. As we wrap up here, I just want to say thank you to our friends here from Plano ISD, for Leah and Lilly for joining us. Thanks for joining Medea and I this afternoon. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social medias. We're BenQ Education, or BenQ North America. We have a YouTube channel. We have LinkedIn. We have Instagram. And if you would like more information on BenQ and the products that we offer for classrooms, don't hesitate to reach out through our email that's attached to the bottom of the channel. Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us on Teach Your Way with BenQ. For more resources and teaching inspiration, visit us online at BenQBoard.com. Don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode.